Hello there everyone and welcome to the Delightful Day Layering Guide video. So I'm going to be using my stamp wheel for this and we're going to be lining up on the crosshairs. To make them easier to see, I do have a piece of coloured cardstock that I'm just going to place underneath so it's easier to see that crosshair that we have in the centre of the plate. We're then going to line the crosshair that we have in the centre of the flower stamp directly on top of the one that we have on the plate. And there we go, everything is nicely lined up. We can then remove that piece of cardstock. I'm then going to place a piece of cardstock into place so I can stamp my image onto it. So you are going to kind of need to wiggle this round just to make sure that you can get one of the images completely in onto it. So I'm just lining up the outline that we have. For the outline, I am going to be using the obsidian ink to ink this up. Now, a little tip when doing this is once you have inked it all up, you can then go ahead and just clean off the other stamps that don't have to have the ink on them. So I didn't do it on this one, which I should have, because I have then added a little bit of black marks onto my cardstock. But as I'm going to use this as a die cut, it doesn't really matter. So once I have that nicely stamped down, I can just remove that and then clean off my stamp and twist it around. So we're going to be going on to the one that's to the left of the stamp that we've just done. And this is going to be the base layer here. And I am going to go in with the hydrangea ink to ink that one up. So I'm just going to stamp that directly on top of the one that we have just stamped with the outline, and you can see just how well that one lines up. I'm just going to twist my plate, so then I am going to be using the one again onto the left of the one that we've just used. This is the third layer here, and I'm going to be using the ultraviolet ink to ink that one up. Again, you can kind of clean the ink off the other stamps before stamping down if you are going to use this just on its own and not cut it out. So I'm just going to stamp that one into place, and then once I have that nicely transferred onto the cardstock below, I can then twist the little plate again, and we're going to be moving on to the last one here. For this one here, I am going to be using the Andromeda ink to add that darker shading and detail into the image. So I'm just going to ink that all up and then stamp that one directly into place over the ones that we've just stamped. And that is going to be able to create that really beautiful layered image that we have there. I'm then going to move on to the little flower center. So I'm just going to flip my image around and I'm going to be using the chamomile ink to add this into place. So I'm just going to stamp that into the little stamens that we have on the image. Once that's done, I'm going to move that out of the way and we're going to kind of line up the leaf little cluster that we have. So again, to make those crosshairs to be able to be seen easier, I am going to add a little bit of coloured cardstock under my plate, and then I'm going to line up the crosshairs that we have on the leaf stamp directly on top of the crosshairs that we have on the flip plate. Once that's done, I'm just going to move this piece of cardstock round just so I can make sure that the leaf is going to be in the perfect position when I stamp this down. So I'm going to start off again with the outline that we have, and I'm going to be stamping this using the very pretty obsidian ink. This is my favorite black ink of all time, and I'm just going to stamp that into place onto the little piece of cardstock that we have in the stamp wheel. Once that's done, I am going to clean this stamp off, and then I'm going to move on to the second layer. So the second layer of this stamp here is just 2 leaves. So you can see this in the layering guide. So they are just going to be to the left of the one that we've just stamped. And for this layer here, I will be using the sweet leaf. Now I don't want to get any of this ink on the stamp that I'm going to be the image that I'm going to be stamping, sorry. So I'm just going to clean off the ink from the other 2 areas just to the left and right of this 2 little leaf cluster that we have here. Once that has been stamped down, I'm going to twist my little plate around again, and then we're going to go in with the little leaves that we have at the bottom edge. So this is going to be our third layer, and I'm just going to ink these up using the Just Green ink. I'm going to remove the ink from the layer that we've just done and make sure that we haven't got it on the fourth layer as well. So again, I'm just going to pop this into place, just kind of rotating that plate as needed to stamp this directly on top of the ones that we've just done. Once that has been done, we can move on to the final layer of this one, and I am going to be using the Mountain Pine ink. So this one just has the 2 detail leaves just right at the end. As before, I'm just going to get rid of the ink off any of the other images that is not needed. So I'm just going to stamp that into place directly on top of the ones that we've just done. And then that is all of the layering complete. We really do hope this video helps. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye.